This Week with Bob Mueller on News 2.
This week,
we're pressing the go button on a process to give voters the best choice.
In November, Nashville voters get another shot at approving mass transit.
So as far as it being political, not for me.
Congressman Mark Green pushes back at Democrats and some fellow Republicans who called his months-long effort to impeach the Homeland Security Secretary a political stunt. Green then announces he will not seek re-election.
Last year was probably the worst.
The LGBTQ plus community meets with lawmakers over anti-equality legislation.
This year, our revenue is flat.
Republicans say because of a decline in state finances, they can't afford to reduce the sales tax on food, but are able to afford reducing the business franchise tax. More in a This Week cover story. Hello again and welcome to another edition of This Week. Another push for mass transit in Nashville, and voters will have the final say. Tennessee Congressman Mark Green announces his retirement after keeping his promise to impeach the Homeland Security Secretary for not securing the U.S. southern border. The full force of the LGBTQ plus community lobbying for their freedoms on Tennessee's Capitol Hill. But we begin with priorities. Not enough state revenue to pay for reducing the sales tax on food, but still enough for a business tax cut.
Tennessee's Republican legislature isn't planning on bringing back its food tax holiday from the last few years.
2 years ago, we had really good growth in our revenue. We had 2 months, I believe, of sales tax holiday on groceries. Last year, we had even more revenue. I think we did 3 months of sales tax relief on groceries. This year, our revenue is flat.
But where is some of that flattening of revenue coming from?
I think it's an economic factor. It's really mostly in franchise and excise tax, which is known to be a very volatile tax. You know, it sort of has a trajectory, but year to year it can vary quite a bit.
But this year, Tennessee lawmakers are looking to substantially or entirely cut the franchise tax and refund businesses who have paid it in the last 3 years. A move that has infuriated state Democrats who say it's a windfall for big corporations.
They love to talk about how they run government like a business, but we're not even doing right by our own shareholders, which are our constituents, the taxpayers. We're shaving money off the top. So they're not even doing their own playbook right.
The franchise tax is paid by businesses of all sides. There are big businesses, but there's also businesses that are single proprietors, and there are people like your landscapers or your real estate agents, and those people that have paid this tax, and they deserve equal treatment just like anybody else does.
Of course, Democrats say it'd be better for Tennesseans to drop the food tax instead. In Nashville, Chris O'Brien.
This November, another mass transit plan will be before Nashville voters.
I am excited to announce my intention to have a transportation improvement program on the ballot in November.
That referendum will ask voters to support dedicated funding for a mass transit plan, a plan not yet finalized.
We're not releasing a map or unveiling a plan. We're pressing the go button on a process to give voters the best choice.
The plan is expected to be finished by the end of March. It will not be a repeat of the $5+ billion proposal of 2018. And while the mayor would not put a figure on it, he hinted this will be closer to a $1+ billion plan that Nashville needs.
We're a big city, and it's time to act like one. According to Think Tennessee, of the top 50 cities in the United States, only 4 don't have some form of dedicated funding for transportation and infrastructure. 2 of those 4 are in Tennessee, including Nashville.
The transit system will operate 24/7, 365 days, lean on increasing bus services, more community transit centers that connect to each other, upgraded traffic management centers, and more sidewalks.
We've been on the move in so many ways over the past couple of decades, except with regard to this basic principle of how we move around our own city. We've been stuck in neutral, and we've got to move.
What does dedicated funding mean for taxpayers? That has yet to be determined, but could mean a higher sales tax by a half cent or so.
The cost of transportation is nearly equal to the cost of housing for most households in Nashville, and it's past time we tackle our transportation issues so that Nashville can become a more livable city, a place you want to stay and can.
What the plan will not include is a light rail system.
This plan will not have a $1 billion tunnel under downtown in it. It will not include investments in rail-based transit service. Transit has only become more popular, and the need for it has only become more urgent.
A new Vanderbilt health poll shows school safety is a top concern for 1 in 3 Tennessee parents. Millions have been invested to address that concern and keep kids safe. So, when will we see your tax dollars put to work in metro schools? Here's News 2's Adam Mincer.
So far this year, 11 guns have been found in metro schools. That compared to 19 last year, according to police. But next week, Metro Nashville schools anticipate a new security system will be online, a gun detection system integrated into existing cameras.
The area is under lockdown.
The CEO of the company explained it to News 2 last year.
It's specifically trying to recognize a person with a gun in their hand. As long as it's visible, as long as a human being could see it, it picks it up in a fraction of a second.
A Metro school spokesperson says they're also currently installing shatter-resistant film on school windows and doors. However, according to the latest Vanderbilt Child Health poll, what 80% of Tennessee parents want to see is law enforcement or a school resource officer in every school. Last year, lawmakers approved $140 million to do just that.
There is no excuse to not have a guard at every school.
But months after that call to action, there's an SRO in every Metro middle and high school, but none inside Metro elementary schools. At the start of the school year, Metro Police's Chief Drake explained the issue as funding, not desire.
With the level of our staffing, we can't pull 70 officers away from the streets of Nashville, keeping our communities safe, and put them in schools at this time.
But still, some council members have opposed the idea of SROs in schools.
We asked for gun reform, plain and simple. We asked for it, we demanded it, we marched, we protested, we cried, and we got money for police officers in schools.
MNPD officers patrol elementary schools around arrival and dismissal time. And there are non-law enforcement officials called school safety ambassadors trained in safety protocols in elementary schools. So far, MNPS has hired 59 of these ambassadors. Their total goal is 70.
Now to our This Week cover story. For years, Tennesseans have been able to run for 2 offices, but that could soon change. News 2 State Capitol reporter Chris O'Brien explores a new push from Republicans to ban the practice.
When Knoxville Democratic Representative Gloria Johnson was nearly expelled last year, she used the momentum to launch a campaign for the United States Senate.
It is in the law. It's been done before. People have been on the ballot for 2 times.
Currently under Tennessee law, lawmakers can run for 2 offices. So Johnson could run for the U.S. Senate while also running for re-election in the Tennessee House. But Republicans are pushing a new bill to outlaw that in the state.
It's time that we prevented people from running for 2 offices or 3 offices at once.
But the move could have some unintended consequences, as East Ridge Republican Representative Esther Helton Haynes has been on her city council since 2016, though she says her situation is a little different than Johnson's.
I think the only similarity would be that her name's going to be on the ballot twice like mine. I think the difference is that I ran with the intention of winning and serving in both, and that's what I've been doing.
Democrats chastised the move as a clear hit back against Johnson, as several lawmakers have run for 2 offices in the past.
And it's really interesting when it comes to me doing it, it's a problem.
But Republicans pushed back on that.
I think the issue really came up before she announced.
I don't think it's directed at any individual. I've never heard that mentioned in any conversations that I've had with Senator Briggs.
Knoxville Republican Senator Richard Briggs sponsored the bill. Of course, Democrats laughed off the notion that the bill has nothing to do with Johnson's Senate bid and left Republicans with one parting shot.
Why are they so scared of you, Gloria?
Bless their hearts. Bless their hearts. It wasn't about me, huh? These men are so easily triggered. They are so emotional, and I think that they are too emotional to govern.
Gloria Johnson is running to oust Tennessee Republican U.S. Senator Marsha Blackburn. Senator Blackburn's campaign manager responded to Johnson running for 2 offices, saying if Gloria Johnson truly believes she will win the Democratic primary and general election in November, why is she running for both seats? And this bill could also have an impact on Senator Blackburn. She's been mentioned as a potential vice presidential candidate for former President Donald Trump. If this bill passes, she would not be able to run for both Senate and vice president. Stay with us. This Week continues in a moment.